Supergirl number 20, Steve Orlando and Jodie Houser writing with Jamal Campbell on the art. This is the final issue of the series, if I can think of what I'm trying to say there for a second. It's the final issue of the series, and obviously the last sort of batch of issues, the last arc, the in plain sight arc, and then the standalone issue last time have very much been the best chunk of the series, and seemingly continues this trend with the New 52 Supergirl, where that just found its feet before it got cancelled, annoyingly.
Yeah, although this one, Bendis hadn't been coming, I'm sure.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe that's what did it, which is a shame. However, I have to honestly say that this final issue has a lot of problems, and
I thought you were going the other way.
No, because there's things I like about it, all the stuff that's wrapping up, the Supergirl stuff with Bones and all the rest of it. Yeah, all those sides of things are all fine, and I wish it focused on that for the entire issue. Instead, for some reason, and I know this is not Hauser, this is definitely Orlando.
Yeah.
Because Orlando takes the opportunity in the final issue that should feel like a conclusion to the book that I've been reading for the last 2 years, to instead of focusing on the characters we care about in this book, introduces out of nowhere this new character and then a second character for Supergirl to fight whilst all the main stuff with Bones is going on.
I had to go back and find my last issue to make sure I didn't miss an introduction. Like, even if it was just a panel.
No idea who these people are. Supergirl's fighting one of them, and then another one shows up and grabs the first one, and like, we need to go off. And there's just a little narration box, a little editor's note that just says, "Hey, to find out where these characters go next, make sure to read The Unexpected in June." And I'm like, did you seriously just use the final issue of a book that I've been reading since the start to introduce random ass characters for a new series you're doing in a couple of months?
Yeah. Normally, if you would have told me you got an axe-wielding lady that comes from Viking mythology in a Supergirl book, I'd be like, hell yeah, sign me up.
Do you know what it is, though? It's so, like, shallow and just, like, it's so obviously just a tease for this other book. And
exactly.
I'm like, this issue...
kind of a dick move.
This issue should not be a setup for another series. This issue should be a conclusion to the series that it's been. And it's not. Instead, it's... And Joe, honestly, these characters, when they showed up, it gave me, like, flashbacks of his JLA, where all of his villains were these generic-looking assholes who I didn't care about. Like, they're over-designed, it's all these extra bits and pieces. I felt the same way about these two.
Yeah, had these characters showed up somewhere else first, and there was a little editor's box, I was like, hey, why are these guys in National City? I could have taken it, but Toward the Viking lady just comes out of nowhere. And it doesn't relate to anything going on with the DEO or Mokari. Like, I don't even get any conclusion from Mokari.
Not really. I mean, they stop him, but there's not really much to it.
No, but he even, like, they don't even take him in. He's just like, oh, I'm going back to this place. So I was like, well, was this a thing that you had planned going forward and it got cut off? And you couldn't come up with a quick ending or what? Because everything else is fine. The stuff with Bones and the DEO and all of that all works really well, I thought. And the stuff with Ben, Catco.
Bones was great. Catco stuff was good. Chasing Veritas, like, coming back together.
Did we know they were a couple?
Honestly, I didn't remember that myself either, but it worked well enough.
Yeah.
That didn't feel like it,
it didn't
suffered
bother
for
me,
it.
but I was just like, was I just not picking up on this the whole time? Like,
But because it's Chase is like invading the DEO with the werewolf, with Laron.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Again, they're bringing back Laron, the Kryptonian werewolf. And
easy way to score points with Matt.
Yeah,
exactly.
All that
it's the Viking lady. Like, I should love this issue, but it was such a flipping mess that.
But it's because there's no build up to these new characters. They just show up. There's no reason for them really, and then they just run off. And it says, "Hey, go follow him." In this other book, and it's like that was like a backdoor pilot without any plot related to them to set these characters up, and it felt like such a bullshit move. And honestly, it's left with a really bad taste in my mouth. And I don't blame Jodie Houser one bit, because I think she's the one scripting, but I think Orlando's the one. Still plotting. And I feel like this is purely from that level. I don't think anything she could have done in the script with the dialogue would have saved what I don't like about this issue.
Oh, no, you're right.
I felt genuinely annoyed, like I'd been given this other thing. Like I felt like I'd been betrayed's a strong word, but it felt like
No,
it was a bait and
it's a bait and
switch.
switch.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Same time. It's not a good send off. At least the New 52 send off felt like a send off, like with the Citadel stuff. And I was like, oh, okay, this sucks at the sending, but at least I have a nice conclusion. And the final page of this is nice, but
Yeah.
it definitely makes me feel like this version of Kara is going out the window.
I don't necessarily feel that per se, but it just kind of feels like it's an ending. So they wanted to have the final page where it's like, oh, I'm Supergirl and I'm the girl tomorrow, blah blah blah, and she's flying. The art was a little bit ropey on that page though, I have to admit.
As someone who's not been reading for a while, this because I was thinking, oh yeah, once it finishes, I might go back and reread it, like reread from the start and finish it all. But if it's not really got a proper conclusion, I don't know if I want.
Well, here's the thing though. Emotionally, it does, because Kara's emotional journey actually ends in issue 18, and it actually was a really good conclusion for that. And then issue 19 was a really good standalone about how she can help people outside of fighting things. It's just this final issue where it's just kind of like,
Again, I like the stuff, the ending with Ben and her family, them going to dinner,
yeah.
and them holding hands and stuff. So.
Yeah, no, this is the thing. Like 18 and 19 were great. That arc that ended with 18 was fantastic. I loved that stuff, and I wish it kept going. So it really just feels
Orlando.
Yeah, Orlando's someone who I am just thoroughly not excited for anymore.
Like this has gone for a guy where it was like Night of the Monster Men.
Yeah, because especially since, like I said, the characters they introduced in this. And I say introduced, I use that word very loosely. The characters that appeared in this randomly and then left randomly, they reminded me a lot of the villains that I didn't like in his JLA, where they were just dull and uninteresting and overly designed comic book characters that had no impact, no presence.
He has a thing for like capes and like horned helmets, because it reminded me of his Doctor Doom ripoff guy. I can't even remember his name.
Me neither.
Lord Chaos or something.
Yeah, they're super forgettable. And it's not that he's doing the art, obviously, but obviously these are his characters that he's creating and giving to an artist to.
I'm so glad he's not involved in the Justice League stuff going forward.
As am I. I really like, because up until this point I've been liking Supergirl, and it notably got better when with a co-writer. But I did like it before that as well. Like, and it was getting better before that.
The Cyborg Superman stuff was pretty good with
Yeah, and then the Empress stuff with the team.
Yeah.
No, I liked it at the start as well. I feel like he just has a very limited amount of ideas.
Yeah.
For each thing, like
I think he needs to be on a book like The Ray, where it's smaller and he can kind of do these things, but you give him the big spotlight and it kind of.
He buckles under the pressure.
Super disappointed, to say the least. But hey, I still highly recommend reading the run though, because I do think it gets pretty good before this. It does have the emotional ending beforehand. This issue though, it's just this was a kick in the teeth, quite frankly. So.
Okay, well, if I do read through it, I'm just gonna not read this issue.
Right.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, that's probably fine.
If the emotional arc finishes in 18, I'll read 19 as an epilogue, and that's it.
That honestly,
that would actually work, because then the DEO is just out and about.
Yeah,
and you could just whatever.
Yeah, just when they next show up.
Yeah, the only thing that would be left dangling is that the city's still kind of against Supergirl, and that's kind of fixed in this issue.
Yeah.
But